again, people. Let's I've been getting a lot of requests to do this video on police training from New Jersey. It's some civilian training and hundreds of law enforcement. It costs the county, I think, 70 grand. So they did some video clips of this training, and a lot of people have been telling me what I think about it, retired cops. So, and I've been to some training like this before. I'll give you my take on it, and we'll go from there. So I'll give it to calling this out and saying that the officer learned bad stuff. However, they're trying to turn it into, now we have to retrain them, so they want more money. So they didn't do their research before. They spent 70, 100 grand or more in taxpayer money to send these cops to learn bad shit. And now they want to spend more money to retrain them from the shit they learned. So, typical government. Let's talk about just what civilian training is. Government likes to control their own training. Why? When you go to police academy, it's run by a police department or sheriff's department. Or it has to meet state standards. In California, it's called Post Peace Officer Standards and Training. I think in Texas, it's called LEOSA or something, law enforcement something, whatever. So each state has their own standards, so to speak, what training is approved or not approved. You submit your lesson plan. You have to stand by it. Government is training government. So they like that. Why? Because they can teach their own way and they can kind of manipulate the people who are learning, and it's better for government. Cops would prefer to go to non-government training. Civilian training. Why? Because they don't have to worry about complaints. The cops that are teaching them aren't working for the agency, so they can't file a IA complaint on them. They can talk more natural with a bunch of FUs and screw you and, this bitch was this. And they can just use more locker room cop-to-cop talk. Whereas when it's government controlled, it's a little more structured. Somebody get their feelings hurt, they can complain. You're sanctioned by this department, and you said a bad word, and my pronoun wasn't right. And you get in all the other bullshit. If the civilian training, it's like we don't give a shit. The civilian training that used to be really big was, do I have that book here? I was going to grab this book before. Street Survival. Here it is. Street Survival and Tactical Edge. And I got both the books. These used to be like the standard for civilian training. And it was the same type of training that these guys are going to. Civilian training, it cost, a few $100 per person. Now I think they're $1,000 a person. And they just gave you some good real-life statistics without the government filter. I thought it was good training. I liked it. Most cops like civilian training because it's a lot looser, and you can just screw off. They usually have a nice hotel, conference room. You get per diem, you get food. It's just, it's not like you have to sit in the academy classroom or at the PD and they bring in an instructor, blah, blah, blah. So this is what we're talking about, the civilian training. All right, so they sent these guys this civilian training, and this is one of the training concepts. It's not the whole training. These are clips that they have and what the AG, I think it's the AG, Attorney General, is upset about. And they're going to put the legal ramifications. Then I'll explain it from what I think is a cop perspective. Here we go. Nearly 1,000 officers attended this 6-day training course. Some instructors at the conference promoted use of unconstitutional practices. Unconstitutional, what they're calling unconstitutional, I'm a little iffy on. I think most of the shit cops do is unconstitutional, like searching cars and making people get out of cars and doing DUI check stops. And I think all that's unconstitutional. So for government to say that this teaching is unconstitutional is hypocritical at best. Here we go. Tommy Brooks, the Boston Police Department, and he's teaching here.
20 people in a row for the sole purpose of asking a series of questions. And make up your own questions. Something as simple as, hey, how you doing? Where you coming from? Hey, where you going? Be real friendly.
So what I think he's teaching here, nice tats, dude. It's really cool. Shaved head. Oh, okay. Anyway, what he's teaching now is what we used to call consensual encounter or gathering information, non-intrusive. So the difference between a consensual encounter and a detention or an arrest is a consensual encounter. I walk up to you on the street, you're at 7-Eleven, I walk in, we're both getting a Coke, and I go, hey, how's it going today? Yeah, how's this weather? Yeah, how's Boston Red Sox doing? Wasn't that a great game? Oh, yeah, that was a good game. We spark up a conversation, and then I slowly start trying to develop reasonable suspicion that you have committed a crime. Now, I don't do that to somebody that I don't already suspect. So what he's saying is, in here, they're going to say, you can't use a hunch in order to start an investigation. Well, I can use a hunch if I just want to talk to you. If I think you're a shitbag and I want to talk to you and see if you're dumb enough to talk to me and give me information I can use against you, and then I can develop reasonable suspicion you're engaged in criminal conduct, and then I can detain you, and then I can search you, and then I can find that you have drugs or contraband or a weapon on you, and then I can arrest you. It doesn't matter that I thought you were a dirtbag before we started talking, as long as I follow the law. The encounter must not have been intrusive, and I can't use police powers. I can't say, hey, come here and talk to me. I want to talk about the weather. That's not a consensual. Consensual is, you know, you have a free movement to leave and not talk to me and walk away. Okay? Kind of like when you call 911. 911 is considered a consensual encounter. Why? Because you called, you can hang up, and you don't have to talk. Therefore, anything you say can be used against you because you initiated it, and you can hang up at any time. For in-person consensual contacts, I can stop talking or I can walk away and leave at any time.
And just see how people answer questions. You will learn general baseline. And then when you ask somebody a question and the answers are just weird, you'll be so much better at picking up on it.
So I don't have a problem with him teaching that, how to talk to people and how to get information calmly. I think the problem is he's teaching this when you have him on a traffic stop. And the law says you can't prolong a traffic stop so you can play games or wait for a dog. If you do a traffic stop, and why does that rule exist? Because cops have abused it, and they would hold you for 30 minutes or an hour claiming I was writing a ticket waiting for a dog. And it's wrong. And so the court said, you know what? Cops are abusing it. We're going to make a law now. You can't detain somebody longer than is reasonable to write the ticket and get him on his way. And so now cops are on the gun, so they're trying to figure out other ways to prolong it. Clearly, the officer cannot pull someone over because they have a hunch or gut feeling. So I didn't hear him say pull somebody over just to talk to him. If he said that, absolutely 100% wrong. Can't do it. I can't stop you just to talk to you. I can stop you if you commit a violation, which you cannot drive without committing a violation. Anybody that thinks they're Mr. or Mrs. Great Driver and a cop, and you don't violate the law, you're full of shit. That's what kills me every time somebody tells me, you know, if I get a ticket or something and I bitch about it, they're like, well, if you just follow the law, you wouldn't have to worry about it. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Nobody can just follow the law. Show me a driver and I'll show you the crime. All right, I can't stop somebody just to talk to them. I can stop you for not using a turn signal, swerving in the lane. Your muffler's too loud. Your tint looks a little too dark. I want to check it. Your tires look bald. It could be a safety hazard. I didn't think you had your seatbelt on. I couldn't tell if it was on or not. It looked like you adjusted it. Your glasses are too wide. There's something on your windshield. Your windshield's too dirty with bugs. It's obstructing your view. It's a safety hazard. I can pull you over for something anytime. That's why I don't like all the traffic bullshit, but I digress. They cannot stop for sole reason just to speak and ask questions. So he must have said that in this hearing. I didn't hear that. When an officer pulls over a motorist without reasonable suspicion of crime or even a motor vehicle infraction, that is unconstitutional. Okay, so let's see what this tattoo boy looks like. So this is Kenny Williams, and he works for Holbert Police Department. And I can't hear what he said. Let's try again.
In Indiana, speed limit for trucks is 65, cars is 70. There's no fucking way that any car should ever be behind a semi if they have the ability to pass it. So when you do that, if you're coming through Indiana, I'm gonna fucking stop your ass.
This is your typical freaking cop ticket chasing piece of shit that I hate. He just said, if you're behind a semi and don't pass him, I'm stopping your ass. There's no right answer. This guy right now, his name should be on the Brady list, and every ticket he writes should be reviewed, thrown out, and in the future, he better have a body cam of every freaking violation before he can stop. I mean, this is the bullshit where cops have lost all integrity and honor, and they just get out there and become rogue. And then you have idiots out there who will watch this and say, we got to back to blue. This is an isolated incident. All cops are good. That's all bullshit. All I see is bad cops with no honor and no integrity. All I see is cops writing tickets. I can't drive anywhere in Texas without seeing 4 or 5 cops writing tickets in a 30-minute drive. That's ridiculous. Meanwhile, crime's out of control, shoplifting's out of control, people are stealing everywhere. There's all kind of crime they could be working, but you know what? It's just easier to sit my ass in a car and pull over somebody going to work, trying to pay their bills, some mom getting her kid to school or something. It's much easier to give them a ticket, get my quota, be a big man at the PD, and then I get my quota. And then I can sit around and be lazy, and then I can go teach and talk about how badass I am because I can stop you because you don't pass the semi. So this guy's automatic ticket writing punk in my book, but we'll see.
It's a whole left lane to pass this fucking semi, but he's going to sit right behind it. It makes zero sense. It's not logical.
Not logical. I can't pull somebody over for not logical. That's not in vehicle code. Now, can I pull that car over for following too close? Yeah. Can I pull him over because he squeezed in a lane? Or he put on a signal and then he went straight? Or he's driving inconsistent? Appears nervous? Exhibiting signs that may be under the influence? Yeah, I can pull him over for any of that shit. But I can't pull him over just because he's behind a semi. Officer makes an illegal stop. As a result, finds drug. The evidence will be suppressed. That's fruits of the poisonous tree.
I've seen the videos Kenny Williams with him sitting in the driver's seat. He's finger fucking his computer, really just playing Tetris, not doing anything. And he's asking them very simple questions in the midst of, his investigation. Oh, so who's that in the car again? Oh, where'd you guys say you're going? You going for a long time? I have family out that way. Making up a story and trying to engage them in a casual conversation.
Okay, so this guy is a prosecutor's office. It doesn't say whether he's a cop or a prosecutor. If he's a prosecutor and he's teaching unconstitutional shit, so shouldn't there be some issues with that? Maybe. Let's see what he says.
Kenny Williams with him sitting in the driver's seat. He's finger fucking his computer, really just playing Tetris, not doing anything. And
just playing Texas, not doing anything. That's a problem. He's prolonging the stop. This is where they're talking about these guys are teaching cops. Cops do it. They just don't make it public. He's punching the keys like he's doing something, but he's not doing anything, and he's just engaging in conversation. So he's lying. He's knowing that he's violating the law because the law says you can only detain him to do the ticket. And he's actually teaching and telling cops, just act like you're typing, prolong the stop, but if you act like you're typing, the courts can't prove it, and therefore we can get around and screw somebody over. Unethical. Cop after cop after cop. Unethical. And people are going to come here. Ricky needed black and blue. This is an isolated incident. Okay.
he's asking them very simple questions in the midst of his investigation. Oh, so who's that in the car again? Oh, where'd you guys say you're going? You're going for a long time? I have family out that way. Making up a story and trying to engage them in a casual conversation.
Car stop's only justified. If an officer just apprends to do a motor lookup and ask questions, it would be hard to detect, but it doesn't make it legal. Very good. I'm glad that they're pointing this out. So far, $75,000 public funds is spent, and now they got to spend more money to retrain them. Perfect. Okay, so let's look at the next video here. And again, I'm doing these on the fly. I just saw bits and pieces, so I'm just kind of checking these out now on the fly. Let's go. Investigated 21 police training. Conference held by private New Jersey-based police training company. It may be private, but they're using actual cops. Contained offensive and discriminatory contact. See, this is the problem. When you get civilian training, they're not worried about all that he, she, they, them pronoun bullshit, which is why cops don't like going to that training. They'd rather go to this. If you don't use that, then you got government saying, oh, you should have been more sensitive. Whatever. Glorified use of violence and promoted a warrior approach to policing. Oh, really? That's shocking. I would have never guessed that cops have a warrior approach when dealing with the public. That's very fresh and new to me. I never knew that. Any idiot paying attention knows they're out of control warrior mentality. And they don't know how to tone it down or de-escalate. They're just thugs and bullies with badges. And they pick on people that can't fight back to build their manhood because they're late to their freaking gay pride march week or whatever.
I love violence. I love fighting. I love...
So this is Tim Kennedy. And look, this guy's a testosterone meat eater guy. I don't really care that he's talking about I love violence and I like that. And I got no problem with violence. I wouldn't say I love violence, but if I got to use violence, it's not like I'm going to be bummed about it. It is what it is. Violence needs to be used for overcome violence.
Good at. I love violence. I love fighting. I love shooting, and I fucking love freedom. It wasn't that long ago that we were.
So I'm with this guy. He likes freedom. He's a military dude. I don't know what he's going to be teaching about here, but let's see.
Drinking out of the schools of our enemies. Like, I'm gonna fucking murder this guy. Then I'm gonna take his head. Then I'm gonna cut his head in half. And then I'm gonna boil his skull. And then I'm gonna drink out of that skull. Fucking rad, right? I'm not sure the guy who's fucking recording you like, oh, I am not a citizen of the United States under.
Street cop training founder and CEO. He's making a lot of money. You get government contracts.
Fucking Act 12, 6. Shut the fuck up, right? Not to get pepper sprayed and fucking tased. Windows broken out, motherfucker.
He's only saying what is actually true. I mean, I'm not sure why they're upset about this. Everyone that complains about cops is saying that. If they don't like you or you run your mouth, they'll say, shut the fuck up or I'll tase you, bust out your fucking window, pepper spray you. He's just saying what cops already do. That's not a secret. They want to make it a secret because we got to keep up the propaganda about back the blue. Dehumanize.
Treating turds, right? You're like, fuck them. The ambulance can take care of them, right? And I had a problem treating, gangbangers and the people that were the pieces of shit of society, right? I had a great mentor that told me, well, Sean, guess what? That's a live tissue lab, bro. Anytime you can come to one of these shitbags, absolutely do the best you can. Absolutely, because what if he gets hurt, right? Or she gets hurt, or he gets hurt, then I can perform that flawlessly because now I've had some reps in. Everybody get that? Everybody with me on that?
So he's making a joke. I don't have a big problem with that, saying, hey, you know what? You get a gangbanger that's messed up, practice your medical skills on it. If you screw it up, who cares? That way you get practice and then you can help your brother blue. It's kind of a joke, but it's freaking true. The blue only supports the blue and they hate you. It's just the way it is. Guardian approach to policing. Really? You got guys who are cops and work for the prosecutor's office teaching this, and you're telling me we have a guardian approach? Yeah, I believe you. De-escalation. All right.
West, south, wherever. You don't believe me? Run from Georgia State Patrol. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Right? Run.
I think he's saying if you run from Georgia State Patrol, we're going to fuck you up or pitch you or kill you. So now he's being all cool because he used to write tickets for a living. Now he doesn't.
For me, somewhere along the chase becomes neither confirm or deny. There's some videos out there with me doing just that.
He's just shooting people because they ran from him. Man, look at that shaved head. He's tough. Ooh. No kidding. Shocking. 10 million bucks. Yeah, but it's taxpayer money and you people don't hold cops accountable. What are you crying about? All of a sudden, New Jersey's finding problems with this training, but they don't have a problem with cops acting like this every day of every year. That's not a problem because they defend them and back the blue and tell the citizen you're wrong. And when you file a complaint, they tell you it's nothing and it doesn't go anywhere. And they do an investigation and they clear themselves. But now they're worried about it.
This guy pulls into the gas station, pops his hood up, gets out of his car. But yeah, in Jersey we don't pump our own gas. They do it. Other people do it. So kind of like right from the beginning, I was a little concerned about it.
Ask you a question. What's with the small rubber band? Little small rubber band. See that rubber band? Yeah. What's with the
Facial expressions. That's all I want. This was just a couple of rubber bands and driving behavior. Look at his hand shaking.
Do you have an ID, sir? Okay, can I see an ID?
That's not an 18-year-old kid dressed like Jesus coming eastbound out of Trenton. It's a 75-year-old black man, a change in driving behavior, came into a gas station, and I'm like, what the fuck? And you know what? Shame on me, because I look in there and I'm like, oh, got a couple small rubber bands. And all I'm doing is asking, hey, what's up with that?
So I don't know why the monkey picture was there or what it said. The videos, I must admit, are not that great. Okay, let's watch this one.
I don't want heroes exit. I don't want to fucking die at like 91 with hookers and cocaine around me, you know? Like, why wouldn't that be your goal and objective? Like, I'm on vacation in Colombia, money, and these girls like are not as wealthy and they need to do things to make money.
240 New Jersey attended. Ooh. Private New Jersey-based police training. So New Jersey is kind of trying to say, hey, this is what happens when we let private companies train. We need to maintain control so we can hire incompetent people because of what bathroom they use, because we do a better job at hiring incompetent people, and we do a better job at training the incompetent people we hire, and then when they don't follow their training, we don't do shit but back the blue. Perfect.
Okay? There is an approach. You don't walk up and say, hi, what's your name? How old are you? Sounds like casting couch, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there is like a little bit of a finesse. You gotta be a fucking gigolo.
The purpose is to learn how to do their job better. Saturated with many remarks, whatever. I mean, that, to me, I'm not worried about that. Teaching them to do unconstitutional shit.
Normally in my class, we open up that beer tap, and I just start spraying people with information. But today, you guys are just going to get the tip.
I would be remiss if I didn't remind you or let you know that I have a 3-inch dick.
I'm not the one with the 1-inch dick.
There's actually people who drive around and will input into this website, hey, I just saw a fucking LV Series Pennsylvania. You know.
Murder or something like that?
Ray, you got drugs in the car? I would never do anything like that. Yeah, okay. I watched this car come off the highway, and I fucked the shit out of the female driver. She doesn't want to fuck me back, though.
It's gonna be this sneaky peek, and you all know the sneaky peek. Every guy in the room right now is like, what are you talking about? It's like when you're there, and somebody walks by you, and you're like, don't look. And just don't look. Okay, oh, you know what? Hold on. Hey, what's up, buddy? Fake phone call. Okay, I looked.
Understanding pain, both physically and physiologically, it's important. When we understand what it does and what purpose it serves, it's just another thing that we can harness and that we can leverage as a weapon.
I don't have a problem with what he's saying there. There's times that you need to use pain compliance. There's times that you need to use violence. I got a problem when they think it's funny to use it on anybody they want, whenever they want. That's what I got a problem with.
I like it. You know, like, not like, hey, will you whip me later? But maybe. You know, like, maybe.
Patrol officers to police chiefs. None complained about the training. So how do they find out and get this video? Work environment free. Yeah, see, they're all into this hippy-dippy freaking love thy neighbor shit.
We need to keep reimagining as he or she, him, her, she, him, whatever the fuck you want to call people.
I'm okay with that. I'm tired of that shit too.
Now.
I'm from the Middle East. Everything is a business. Even how we get married. You ever heard of the dowry shit? You know what a dowry is? I'd like your daughter. Can I have her? 150,000. You can have her all day long. You keep her. Don't bring her back. Middle Eastern folks in the class are like, dude, shut up.
There are other costs too. State recognized value of diversity training, struggling, whatever. Cultural, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's go last video. All right, let's see what happens to this one.
We get kicked in the dick one too many times, when we get in trouble by IA, when we lose our motivation and inspiration. I harped a lot on all the negativity. How many times I got kicked in the dick because they didn't want me to go out there and hit a trap, and they didn't want to hit money, they didn't want to hit me kilo. I hit 15 kilos, I hit 300,000. I'm still getting yelled at.
Well, that's probably because you're doing shit wrong and illegal, and that's why you're hitting it. It's easy to go out there and be a tyrant and illegal and make arrest. But if you do it the way you're supposed to, within the law, it's not that easy. Conference held private. Several instructor insubordination believe they know better than the chain of command. Well, I'm kind of with that. Chain of command, usually a bunch of damn idiots. They're not in the chain of command because they were good. They're in chain of command because who they knew, who they liked, who they slept with, whatever.
With some kind of fucking thing on their shoulders or neck collar or fucking whatever. Say, hey, we watched your body cam videos. We don't think you got a voluntary consent. Here's 7 pieces of case law, fuckhead. Stop trying to bag the 19-year-old dispatcher. Get a fucking life.
All right. It sounds like a little bit like they got their panties in a knot. Listen to this part clearly. They talk about joking about how they tell you stupid back the blue people that they write tickets because they care about you. And then they pull over their friends going 100 and they say, have a nice day, and let them go. See, they don't want you idiots that keep saying back the blue to know the truth. That's what they're really upset about.
I don't care, bro. Speed. I'm saving your life. Shut the fuck up. Saving your life. We don't like to write. This is the fucking fun shit. Like, you see that shit on, like, Facebook? We don't like to write tickets, but we do because we care about your loved one. Here's a crash car. Yeah, and then every fucking friend of yours who you work with does 106 and a 50, and you stop and you're like, on a job. Yeah, have a good one, right?
I've been asked to review these videos and what I thought. Here's what I think. It's somewhat of a nothing burger. I do have a problem if they're telling people to break the law and telling cops how to not follow the law. And it doesn't sound like they're following the law. They're telling people how to cheat the law, how to break the law and not get caught. That's unethical. And I've said it. I mean, I've just watched the deterioration of law enforcement. And that's why I say any good cop cannot be proud to be in law enforcement these days because of all the shitbags out there. There's no honor. There's no integrity. There's no way that anybody should be back in the blue. The only way you back the blue is when you prove that you're doing shit the way you're supposed to be doing. And complete transparency. And wear your damn body cam. And don't freaking try to investigate yourselves. Get an independent process for doing your IAs. That ain't gonna happen. And this training... Look, at least New Jersey called it out. I think New Jersey's more butthurt because of the jokes and it wasn't as controlled and their sensitive bullshit than they really are about what cops are actually doing. Because cops are doing exactly what these cops are telling them to do already. And they don't have a problem with it. They only have a problem if we're paying civilians to teach them in an intolerant environment where he and she and they and them aren't recognized and whatever. So it's kind of a bad thing, but the problem is when a government sends somebody to training and an officer gets this training that's paid for by the government, and then I go out and I do what I learned at this training, I have cover and protection saying, you can't fire me. I did what you trained me to do. You paid and sent me to this training, and I did what they told me to do. And now you're telling me you're going to fire me because of it? That's a problem. So that's my take on these. I've been getting a lot of talk for a while. Anyway, that's it. I'll answer in the comments. You got any other questions? See ya.